Hi, I'm Megan and welcome to my kitchen. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you an easy and delicious holiday dinner for two. Now, I'm saying for two, but really it would feed 2 to 4 adults comfortably, or 2 to 4 adults and children, mixture of. These recipes are so easy and delicious, perfect for this holiday season. Let's get into these recipes. First step is a sheet pan cranberry chicken with potatoes. I will have this recipe linked in the description box below for you. Here are the ingredients that I'm going to use. Now, the recipe called for a whole chicken cut up. I'm just using bone-in skin on chicken thighs. Use whatever you prefer. I've got some baby potatoes. The recipe suggests to use fresh herbs of your choice. I had some rosemary on sage on hand, so that's what I'm going to use. I've got olive oil, balsamic vinegar, maple syrup, some orange juice, salt and pepper, garlic powder, a fresh orange, and then cranberries. You can use fresh or frozen. These were fresh. I didn't use all of them, so I put them in the freezer. Just pulled them out for this. You don't have to thaw them or anything. So in this small bowl, we're going to make like the dressing, I guess, for the chicken and potatoes. So I'm measuring out my olive oil. I'm then going to add in my garlic powder. Next, I'm going to add in the balsamic vinegar. Next, your orange juice. You can absolutely use fresh orange juice if you prefer, but I have this little container and I wanted to use it up, so I'm going to use that. And I only had one orange and I wanted to add one to the sheet pan as well. Now I'm going to add in the maple syrup. I'm adding in some salt and pepper. Now I'm adding in my fresh herbs. I'm just giving them a rough chop. And if you don't have fresh herbs, no worries at all. You can absolutely just use whatever dried you have on hand. I'm going to give this a really, really good whisk. And at this point, you can give it a taste, adjust the seasonings to your taste. You can add a little more orange juice, a little more balsamic, a little more herbs, whatever you like. Now to a bowl, I'm going to take those baby potatoes and cut them up. I cut them in half, but I would recommend you cutting them into quarters. You want kind of bite-sized pieces. Drizzled this with a little bit of olive oil and then added some salt and pepper. I'm going to take about half of the dressing that we made, toss that with the potatoes, and I meant to add the cranberries too and give that a toss, but I forgot, but I add them later. It's fine. Add the potatoes to a foil-lined baking sheet. Next, I'm going to take those chicken thighs and I'm going to trim them up, so just cut off some of the extra fat and skin, place them in that same bowl. Add some of that same dressing and then give that a toss. And this is totally optional, but I just set that to the side. My oven was preheating, so I just set it to the side for like a quick little marinade. Only sat there maybe about 10 minutes or so. Now I am going to, you see me adding in the cranberries I forgot earlier, like I mentioned. I'm going to move the potatoes and the cranberries around so that I can lay the chicken breasts in the middle, or chicken thighs in the middle, sorry about that. Now this recipe, I am using 3 chicken thighs here. I would do like maybe 1 or 2 per person, so you can absolutely change up this recipe depending on how many people you're needing to feed. I took the rest of that dressing and poured it over the chicken and potatoes, and then I wanted to add a little bit of salt and pepper directly to the chicken itself. Your chicken, it can be a little bland without some seasoning. It needs a little bit of help there. So I sliced the orange into thick slices. I placed it onto the cookie sheet. This is going to go into a preheated oven. It was set at 425 degrees. I baked it for about 45 minutes or so. You do want to make sure that the chicken is cooked at least 165 degrees internal temperature. This is what it looked like. I just placed it on a platter and this was really good. Now, a couple notes. One, the recipe did mention that if you wanted the cranberries to really become like saucy, to put them in at the beginning. If you want your cranberries more whole, you can wait and put them in like maybe 15 or 20 minutes, when you have that remaining on the timer, but I wanted them to really cook down. Now, Gary loved this just as is, and I really liked it as well, but I just wanted to give you an option. This is completely my own personal taste. I will definitely make this again. It was delicious. It was easy, but I would like to separate out the potatoes so that they're more crispy because of the dressing, and the orange juice and maple syrup and all that. you know, they just weren't crispy, and I just prefer crispy potatoes. So I would make the same dressing, add the cranberries and the chicken, and add that to one side of the sheet pan, and then make like a little foil boat so the juices didn't get down to the potatoes, and then cook the potatoes, you know, with those same seasonings, the rosemary, the sage, the garlic powder, salt, pepper. But again, that is absolute personal preference. You do not have to do that at all. Like I said, this was absolutely delicious as is, so flavorful and perfect for this time of year. Next, I'm making a pear, pomegranate, and spinach salad. Again, the recipe will be in the description box below for you. Here are the ingredients I'm going to use. I've got some baby spinach, feta, some honey roasted pecan pieces, cranberries. These are the dried ones, just craisins. And then pomegranate seeds, a ripe pear. And then for the dressing, we've got some Dijon mustard. We've got salt, pepper, honey, and then the recipe called for just regular olive oil or avocado oil and apple cider vinegar. However, I had these two little bottles. This is a honey ginger white balsamic vinegar and a Persian lime infused olive oil. I got these two little bottles with a kit I'd bought at an olive oil store, and I wanted to use them up, and I thought these flavors would just go perfectly with this salad. So that's what I'm going to use, but really any kind of vinegar or lemon juice would work, and whatever kind of oil you want to use. If you've watched my channel for a while now, you know whenever I make vinaigrettes, I love making them in a mason jar, but you can absolutely just make them in a bowl. I like this though because you can just shake it and then, you know, make it ahead, and right when you're ready to serve it, you can get another little quick shake and you're good to go. So I'm adding in the balsamic vinegar. I wasn't sure if I had enough olive oil or not, and I didn't. I needed another tablespoon, so I just used the plain olive oil. Next, I'm going to add in the honey. You could also use maple syrup or agave, whatever you prefer, and I think maple would go especially well with these flavors. Now I'm going to add in the Dijon mustard, followed by some salt and pepper. Just do the salt and pepper to taste. Now you could add in some herbs if you'd like to, but the vinaigrette is flavorful enough without it. So like I said, just put the lid on it, give it a really good shake, and then that's it. Your vinaigrette is done. Now to assemble the salad, I've got my little serving bowl here. I'm going to add in some baby spinach. You could use a spring mix. You could use like arugula and spinach combination. I think that would be good. I'm going to add on some crumbled feta cheese. You could also do goat cheese here. I think that would be yummy. Next, we're going to add on the pomegranate seeds. I love using pomegranate seeds during this time of year in salads. They just look like little jewels. And if you've never had pomegranate seeds before, I don't know how to explain it. They're like kind of a little, they've got like crunchy seed in the middle almost, but the outside is kind of soft. When you bite into it, it like pops. The juice just pops into your mouth. They're so good, and they're so good for you, but they are delicious. So I'm adding on the pecans and then some dried cranberries, followed by some sliced pear, and then that's it. All you have to do right before service, and I would highly recommend you wait until like right when you're going to eat this to toss it with the vinaigrette, and this salad was so good. The combination of flavors, absolutely delicious, and it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. If you need a salad or a side dish for, to take somewhere, or for company, or for an upcoming party or something, I'd recommend giving this salad a try. It's really good. All right, here is a picture of my plate. I've got a piece of the chicken, some of the potatoes, the orange. I did squeeze the orange over top of my chicken, and then the salad. Such a delicious and beautiful dinner. Last but not least, for dessert, we're going to make no-bake gingerbread cheesecake cups. I have the recipe linked down below. Here are the ingredients I'm going to use. First up, you'll need some ginger snap cookies, ground nutmeg, ground ginger, ground cinnamon, molasses, some softened cream cheese, some Cool Whip that has been thawed. You can obviously make your own homemade whipped cream if you're feeling froggy and want to do that. Go for it. You'll need some melted butter, and then some sprinkles are optional. You totally don't have to add them, but it just adds a little, you know, Christmas holiday flair to it. And I believe the recipe also said that you can use like little mini gingerbread cookies if you want to, just for decoration, but that's not required at all. So first up, we're going to make the little crust. I have some ginger snap cookies. All I did was place these into a little Ziploc bag and then smash the dickens out of them with the back of a metal spoon. I'm going to add those to some melted butter, give it a really good mix, and then we're going to place them into the bottom of our cups. I'm using these stemless like acrylic wine glasses. Really, you can use whatever kind of dish you would prefer. If you don't really care necessarily about people seeing the layers, you could do these in little ramekins or you know, other little bowls. So once we've pressed that crust into it, you're going to pop this into the freezer just long enough for it to harden. I put it in there for like 30 minutes. To a bowl, I'm going to add in my softened cream cheese. And if you forget to set your cream cheese out, or if it's not as soft as what it needs to be, just pop it into the microwave on defrost for about 10 seconds. You don't want to do it very long because obviously then you'll cook it, but just a few seconds and it'll soften right up for you. I'm going to give that a little stir and then add in my whipped topping. And again, this is thawed. And like I said earlier, if you want to make your own homemade whipped cream, of course, you're in your kitchen, you do you. I'm going to give that a stir, and now it's time to add in the molasses. And the molasses, along with the spices, really is what makes this, you know, a gingerbread type no-bake cheesecake. It adds so much good flavor to it. So we're going to add in that molasses. Now I'm going to add in the spices. So I've got ground ginger, ground cinnamon, and ground nutmeg. And then the last ingredient is some powdered sugar. We're going to add that and then give that a really good mix. I would suggest, and you'll see me do this here in a second, mixing this with a hand mixer just for a minute or two until the mixture gets completely smooth. Now, once you've got it really well mixed and smooth, give it a taste and adjust the seasonings to your taste. As you can tell here, I added about another tablespoon or so of powdered sugar. I felt like the gingerbread flavor in this no-bake cheesecake was subtle, but I mean, you could definitely tell it was gingerbread, but you can absolutely add more of the spices if you want it a little stronger gingerbread flavor. So I added that mixture to a little Ziploc bag, snipped off the end, placed it into the cup, and then I'm going to take just a little bit of that Cool Whip, add a little dollop on top, and then give it a little zhuzh with some of those sprinkles, and then that's it. These are so adorable. They were super easy to put together. You saw no baking, and they look so festive and so cute, and they were yummy. Just make sure you can make these ahead. Just make sure you obviously chill them. All right, that is it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you'll give these recipes a try. If you did like this video, hit the thumbs up button below and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.